As we bid a goodbye to the year that went past, we thought it'd be a good idea to go for a long drive in a car that comes from a nearly 100-year-old brand, one that has offered its customers exactly the kind of cars they want, that it is as relevant now as it was in the past. We are talking about MG. And the car we are driving is the stylish, extremely capable and feature-packed MG Astor SUV. Sunday mornings in Mumbai are something else. The city might never sleep, but the way the beautiful early morning sunlight falls on magnificent pieces of architecture is equally enjoyable. From the CST to Ballard Estate, from the Horniman Circle to the Gateway, Mumbai presents itself in a pretty neat fashion. Plus, this also gives us a chance to appreciate the well-proportioned MG Astor SUV. As soon as we started, we realized how well the MG Astor is adapted to Indian conditions. The 1.3-litre turbo petrol engine makes 140 horsepower, and as a result, the Astor just cruises along nicely no matter the terrain or traffic conditions. The well-designed interior ensures that even after a long day of shoot and driving, we didn't have the slightest fatigue. Also included in the well-designed, luxurious interior is the personal AI assistant, which makes interacting with the car a fun activity. And while we didn't encounter anything that would trigger the autonomous driver assist features, we are glad the Astor comes loaded with them. From the ability to automatically brake in the case of an imminent collision to keeping itself in its lane, there are a lot of ways in which the onboard system assures to keep the Astor and its occupants safe. Closer to Goa, we are greeted by narrower but entertaining roads and scenery which suddenly becomes exponentially more beautiful. Goa itself is a mix of cultures and languages. And it never runs out of charm. From spending time on the beach to visiting the variety of churches, from sampling food at local eateries to enjoying the view around from atop a hill. There's always something to keep yourself busy in Goa, and the MG Astor turned out to be just the perfect vehicle for that. Let's hear from Pablo what he thinks of the Astor.
Hi, my name is Pablo Chatterjee and I am the executive editor at Motoring World magazine. Now, you might well be wondering what I'm doing out here this early in the morning, because I'm not a morning person. But when my colleagues called me up and said that they were headed to Goa and asked whether I wanted to join them on a drive in the MG Astor, I was only too happy to oblige, because there's nothing I like better than an early morning drive. They handed me the keys to the car, and the first thing that struck me was that this is quite a nice looking car. It is, if you ask me, probably the best looking car in its class. I particularly like the way that starburst grille sort of jumps out at you. I really like this shade of red that it comes in. if you ask me, this is a car that stands out from the crowd in the compact SUV segment. As far as the car's design is concerned, I think it's something that really appeals to me, certainly. It stands out from the crowd. So when they handed me the keys to the car, I was quite eager to get behind the wheel to see exactly what it was like to drive. And I'm happy to report that the 1.3 litre turbo petrol was in fact a lot of fun to drive. It's very spirited, it's a good companion, especially if you want to chuck it around a set of corners. I like the fact that there are steering modes which lighten it up or give it a slightly heavier feel, again, if depending on your personal preference. It's great that there are disc brakes all around. You know that the car has your back and the braking feel is nice and crisp. There's ADAS features which are great. You know they're working in the background. They're unobtrusive for the most part, and if you feel that they're getting a little too intrusive, then you can always switch them off. And overall, I really had a good time in this car. So once I actually jumped inside the cabin, I found it to be a really nice space. I love the fact that there's a two-tone finish to the interior. This wine red is really easy on the eye, and the seats are really comfortable. I took it for a fairly long drive, and I found that I wasn't fatigued at all. The steering wheel is chunky, it's sporty. I like the fact that it has a flat bottom. It's nice and meaty to hold. The personal AI assistant is an interesting touch, and it can be fun to use if you so wish. The audio system is great. The air conditioning is great. There's lots of room in the front as well as in the back. There's a panoramic sunroof, and the fact that this car has this many features in it for this price is absolutely fantastic. After a full day's driving in the MG Astor, I was actually quite envious of my colleagues who drove the car all the way from Bombay to Goa. Having said that, I had a lot of fun myself in the day that I had to drive it. I found it to be a really pleasant car. I found it to be fun. I found it to be safe. I found it to be feature loaded and also really comfortable. And honestly, if you're in the market for SUV that is something like this, that is good looking, that is feature loaded, that is safe, and that is future ready, the MG Astor really jumps out of the segment and presents itself as a very, very viable option.